Hello and welcome to Aquidneck Media Profiles. We're down here in sunny Florida with Tom C. Erb. Tom C. Erb is proof you don't have to choose just one creative path. Actor, casting director, playwright, he's built a career that spans multiple dimensions of storytelling. Whether he's performing in a horror film, developing a TV series, working out concepts, or writing historical musicals, Erb brings a craftsman's attention to character and narrative. So let's start with where it all began. Tom, how did you get involved in acting in the film industry? Tell us.
Oh man, that goes back a long ways. But I'll tell you that story. It's actually the first chapter of my book. I Am the Walrus. I wrote a book about growing up in the '60s. '60s was the most prolific decade I think probably has ever happened with all the changes and all the political drama that was going on. But in 1960, I was 6 years old, living in Norfolk, Virginia, the oldest son of a Navy sailor. I have four younger sisters, and I had four guys that were my best friends, and I was living it up. 6 years old, I was happy. But one day, my mother took us to downtown Norfolk, where we went shopping, and she was pregnant at the time, and so we're walking down this hill, and I noticed a line. There was a line going around the building for the Civic Center. I don't think they called it the Civic Center at the time, but it was mothers and little children, my age. And so I was curious. I said, "Mom, we got to go find out what that is." And she said, "Okay." So I went over with my mother, and my mother asked this one woman, "What's going on?" She says, "This is auditions for the Bozo the Clown show." And I was like, "Whoa, I love Bozo the Clown." I said, "Mom, can we please stay?" Well, she's toting along three other little kids and me, and she says, "I am not standing in this line and waiting all day." And this woman says to my mother, "That's okay. He can hang with me." All right? Mother never met this woman before in her whole life. This was the 1960s. Everybody trusted everybody. My mother left me with this strange woman and her son, Preston. It was me and Preston. We were 6 years old, both of us. Fortunately, we got in quick. So we went through the audition process. This woman didn't know what to write down on the paper with me, so I kind of helped her a little bit. So I went into an audition with maybe 30 people in the room, and I got a call back this to hang around. Preston didn't. So this woman was very upset. And my mother was gone. My mother had left. She got on the bus and went home, okay? Which was a long way home. So the woman went to the director and said, "I am not gonna leave this kid. I'm gonna leave this kid here with you if you don't get my kid in as well." So this mother got Preston into another read. Well, I got broke down to four people, and one of them was Preston, and the other two of them were very talented little actors. So I went through this grueling, grueling audition, and I got the part. I became the Bozo the Clown, Q toothpaste. Um, I would say it was a Q toothpaste spokesperson. Bozo the Clown and Tom would do these little 30-second clips on live TV. Okay, so what would happen is I sat in the seat off camera. All right, and sometimes the camera would pan towards me, but the cameras, which were big, giant, huge boxes at the time, and then they would pan away from me, and I go over to these little sets, and Bozo would then walk around and step into scene, and I would do these commercials with him. "Gee, Bozo, I brushed my teeth today." Those kinds of things. Well, the problem was Bozo was an alcoholic, and Bozo would show up, kind of inebriated most mornings, and he was not a happy Bozo. Back in those days, Bozo was a franchise production, so that means that there were many Bozos. They were all over the country. My Bozo, okay, my Bozo's name was Drew. Now, Drew was an English actor. He went to all these. He's from England, and he came over to the United States after studying at the big Shakespeare school over there, and got a job as a newscaster in Raleigh, Virginia. He was so bad, they decided, look, we've got another job for you, and it's this. And they said, "You got to play Bozo." He did not want to play Bozo, but they told him it's this or you don't have a job. So Drew became Bozo. He hated being Bozo. Oh, But I loved him. I thought he was great. But he finally, I convinced the director and producers to let me do the commercials without Bozo because he never remembered his lines. So I went and I got a couple commercials in. And one day, Bozo came out of his room, and this is why I'm telling you this story. It was a one of those moments in your life where your life changes. Here I was, 6 years old, sitting on a television set in 1960. Bozo in full costume, in full dress, comes out of his costume. He's got a painted-on smile, but his smile is not there. The director comes to Bozo to tell him that from now on, all the Q toothpaste commercials will be done with me, with him in the background. Complete silence. The set went silent. And this Bozo literally walked about 10 feet away from me, his back to everybody, and he turned around and he recited the soliloquy from Hamlet in his full Bozo costume. It was the most incredible thing I'd ever seen in my life. After a while, you forgot he was even wearing a Bozo costume. That was when I got interested in Shakespeare. So I finally became friends with Bozo, with Drew, and it became a wonderful experience. I got re-signed for another year, and there I was. That was my first experience in television in 1960. Well, I did a lot of commercials because I was a cute kid after that. But then as I grew older, I became this pimply fat teenager. Nobody wanted a pimply fat teenager, so I sort of stopped that career. I didn't get back into it until I was in high school. So that's how I got started.